is in some regard on the cusp of a catastrophe. One person's feelings being hurt, one sour business meeting, one misspoken word, even something that I might say today with the most harmless intent to send people racing to their corners, ready to draw lines in the sand and defend their interests. We have to know that the devil would like nothing more than to see the gospel ministry of Boones Creek Baptist Church, which has been going strong in this spot of earth for nearly 250 years, to be silenced by division. And over the years, if we're honest, if we look back through our church history, he's been successful. There's been times where this church has been deeply divided, so deeply divided that we were not successfully able to reach our community with the gospel because of the division that ran amok within our midst. Satan has been, to varying degrees, successful in the past, and so we need to guard to make sure that he is not able to be successful again in the future. We need to remember that he is walking about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And one of his tried and true importance. I do also want to be honest and upfront with you as well. And part of my motivation for preaching on this morning is that while I'm not aware of any deep division that's threatening to split our body, I also have to admit that we aren't quite as unified as I would hope that we would be. I will usually address my emails, "Dear church family," and I'll describe us as a family when talking to others, but there are some times when we act more like a family who barely tolerates one another at Christmas time than a family that shares a deep and abiding intimacy that causes us to long for each other's company and presence as often as possible. As I will often say, we need one another. We need one another to help one another grow in our Christian walks, to keep us from the pitfalls, and we are unified together as a body. But this kind of unity does not happen by accident. We don't just stumble into it by virtue of gathering together in the same room at the same time, one time a week. We have to pursue it, strive for it, build it up. Therefore, today we will consider the question, how are we united in the church? What is it that unites us? What is the tie that binds us together? My prayer is that as we look at this, we will become a stronger, more resilient church, so that if and when, because it is inevitable that conflict will arise, when our enemy attempts to divide us, we will be ready to stand against his schemes, because we will remember and know what unites us is far greater and more powerful than that which attempts to divide us. And so this morning I would ask that if you are able, that you please stand together with me as we read the first 16 verses of Ephesians chapter 4. Looking at this question, how he ascended on high, he led a host of captives and gave gifts to men. In saying he ascended, what does it mean but that he also descended into the lower regions of the earth? He who descended is the one who also ascended far above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds, and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, and to mature manhood, to the measure when each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds itself up in love. This is the word of the Lord. You may be seated. And let's once more turn to the Lord in prayer this morning. Oh God, we are grateful that you have called us together as a body. When I look out over this room, Lord, and when you look out over this room, you do not see just a collection of different families that happen to be occupying the same space and time, but you see a glorious, beautiful body. Each one with its purpose. Each one with their giftings. Each one necessary purpose. Each one with their giftings. Each one necessary to the healthy functioning of the whole. And so, Lord, I pray that as we continue to grow up together in maturity toward Christ, that you would help us in this endeavor. Lord, this is hard because there are so many things in this